Who would win in a fight, Orochi or Boros? Garou or Carnage Kabuto? Genus or the Scrapyard? The One Punch Man villains are some of the most insanely powerful beings you'll ever see in anime. Their strength defies even imagination. They're walking, talking, natural disasters. It's a wonder how the heroes can keep beating them down. But what we all really want to know is which one of them is the strongest. Today we're going to rank the top 20 One Punch Man villains by strength. Boros' arrival on Earth was Armageddon. The opening volley in his war on the planet was a blast from his spaceship that was able to obliterate City A, and nearly all life within it in an instant. He's the Lord of the Dark Matter Thieves, a group of aliens powerful enough to give even S-Class heroes a hard time. Boros is the only One Punch Man villain whose presence has made the Hero Association fear for the safety of the entire globe itself. He arrived on the scene shortly after Shibabawa's final prediction that the Earth was in danger. Putting an end to his invitation required the participation of nearly the entire S-Class, plus Saitama and Atomic Samurai's top disciple, the A-Class number 2 ranked Aiyan. It would take the assault on the Monster Association headquarters that a team-up that stacked was needed. Boros himself is the most powerful villain faced in the series. Saitama is the only one who could stand a ghost of a chance against him. It even took multiple hits from Saitama to defeat him. Boros is the top of the pyramid, the only villain worthy of being called a god-level threat. Orochi, the King of Monsters. He's the leader of the Monster Association and its most dangerous threat. He lives in the Monster Association headquarters and feeds on other monsters in order to make himself even more powerful. Even executive-level members of the Monster Association tremble beneath his might. According to Murata, even the 3 generals of the Dark Matter Thieves, Melzargard, Roribus, and Geryuganshoop, would be unable to win if they teamed up against him. He's also the origin of the monster cells that transform humans into dragon-level monsters. Just like Boros, although he's never officially designated a god-level threat, he is absolutely worthy of it. Only Saitama can ever hope to face him and come out victorious. Orochi's strength is apocalyptic. Of course, the very first villain we see in the series deserves a spot on this list. Vaccine Man was formed from the pollution of the Earth. His mission is to eradicate humans in order to protect the planet. Don't let how quickly he was defeated fool you. Vaccine Man was a real threat. At the time, he was considered the most powerful monster the Hero Association had ever witnessed. His energy blast could eradicate entire swaths of City A effortlessly. By the time Saitama had gotten to him, Vaccine Man had defeated 31 heroes from A, B, and C class without even breaking a sweat. You could even say he was Boros before Boros. He might not be the number 1 most powerful villain, but he's definitely the most underrated. Elder Centipede is a dragon-level threat who really serves the category justice. The Monster Association executive is big enough to tower over the city and reduce it to dust just by crawling through it. Even S-Class heroes are little more than a nuisance to him. Metal Bat and Metal Knight were both powerless to do anything against him. Even a 3-man team-up of Bang, Bomb, and Genus couldn't do any permanent damage. Bang and Bomb's ultimate dual technique, Whirling Wind Flower Water, Fist of Roaring Ki, Rending Air, was only enough to force the monster to molt. Garou's attempted kamikaze plan of creating an explosion from within Elder Centipede's body might as well have been a mild case of heartburn. If all that wasn't impressive enough, Elder Centipede was able to fight Band, the S-Class number 1 ranked hero, and live to tell the tale. Well, until he met Saitama, of course. This villain is much more than a mere martial artist. He's the Hero Hunter, the human monster, but you can also call him Garou. Formerly Silverfang's top disciple, Garou made it his mission to become the ultimate scourge of the world's superheroes. This mad villain has an impressive list of feats. He's single-handedly crushed over 100 of the Hero Association's members, including many from the B and A ranks. Even when exhausted and seriously injured, he was able to systematically take down Death Gatling's 8-hero squad. But what makes him most dangerous isn't his fighting ability. What makes him the biggest threat is his uncanny ability to evolve with each fight. He was able to win his fight against Death Gatling by breaking his limits and fending off a Gatling gun barrage with nothing but his bare hands. After a humiliating loss against Watchdog Man, he's able to seamlessly work a 4-legged stance into his fighting style. Even when bloody, beaten, and poisoned at the end of his rope, he was able to survive a tag team attack from his master Bang and his older brother Bomb, 2 fighters with S-Class level strength. Carnage Kabuto is the most powerful being to come from Dr. Genus' House of Evolution. He's so dangerous and mentally unstable that Dr. Genus had no choice but to lock him away in the depths of his underground research facility. He was the absolute last line of defense for the House of Evolution. The mere thought of releasing him from his bonds was enough to terrify Dr. Genus and his clones. Unlike Dr. Genus' other beings, Carnage Kabuto holds no loyalty to his creator. He's responsible for killing several of Dr. Genus' clones just for fun. Even the original he holds in contempt and has no qualms in dragging him around the facility by the skull. Carnage Kabuto is yet another villain who is able to severely injure Genus without much trouble, and anyone who can do that deserves a spot on this list. The surface of the Earth is about 70% water, but that wasn't enough for Deep Sea King. He wanted to rule over 100%. This terrifying beast rose from the depths of the sea to take over the surface world. Beating up on A-class heroes isn't even a warm-up for Deep Sea King. Even in his base form, he was able to completely tank S-rank Puri prisoners, Angel Rush attack, and return the favor by pulverizing him. Deep Sea King is like a gremlin. Don't get him wet. When it begins to rain, he gets a massive power-up that makes even Speedo Sound Sonic turn tail and run. Brute strength isn't his only advantage. He's a clever tactician. In order to get the edge over Genus, he deliberately targeted a civilian with his acid spit so that Genus would jump into the line of fire. On a villain, strong and clever is a terrifying combination. Melzargard was the advanced infantry of the Dark Matter Thieves. He's in charge of protecting their spaceship, a spaceship, I remind you, that is powerful enough to instantaneously annihilate an entire city. So you know the guy in charge of keeping it safe has got to be tough. Melzargard has nearly endless regeneration, even fighting 4-on-1 against Silverfang, Puri Prisoner, Atomic Samurai, and Metal Bat, 4 S-class heroes. He's able to keep up the pace. He also came very close to killing the A-class's second highest ranked hero, Iayan. But thanks to the S-rankers intervening, Iayan was able to escape after only losing one arm. The only thing stopping him from killing all of the opposing heroes in a war of attrition was the discovery of his weakness. He's able to endlessly regenerate his flesh, but not his marble-like cores. Lucky for our heroes, they noticed the pattern and were able to dispatch him for good. Speedo Sound Sonic isn't the only ninja in the One Punch Man universe. Hellfire Flame hails from the same ninja village as Speedo Sound Sonic and S-class hero Flashy Flash. He was one of the top 2 students in the 37th graduating class of the Ninja Village. As a normal human, his power and speed should be on par with Speedo Sound Sonic's, possibly even greater because of the 7 extra years of experience he has over Sonic. But his normal human limits aren't where he decided to settle. He accepted an invitation into the Monster Association, and was billed as a candidate for executive status. After eating a monster cell to become a monster, his power and speed increased exponentially, making even Sonic nervous. But as strong as he is alone, he's even more dangerous when paired up with his ninja classmate Gale Wind. Gale Wind is very similar to Hellfire Flame. The two of them were the top graduates of the 37th class. Just like his classmate, he also ate a monster cell and was inducted into the Monster Association. Gale Wind has a very dangerous ability that most monsters don't possess. Thanks to his incredible willpower, he's able to control his monster form. He can transform between his normal human form and a horrifying monster form at will. This allows him to blend in and fly under the radar more than other monsters. Hellfire Flame can do the same thing, just as you'd expect from a couple of ninjas. Gale Wind is so fast that Speedo Sound Sonic couldn't even track his movements when they met, and he was even able to put pressure on Flashy Flash, who's the fastest out of all the S-class heroes. Garou isn't the only human villain who can go toe-to-toe with serious monsters. Speedo Sound Sonic is a powerful ninja and, according to him at least, Saitama's rival. He can almost always be found with a variety of ninja weapons that he can use to devastating effect. But even unarmed, he's a threat. He was so fast that base form Deep Sea King was unable to lay a finger on him. If he had weapons, he would have been able to take out the Lord of the Deep before he could even get a chance to get a power-up from the rain. Sonic is definitely strong enough to compete with mid or even high-level S-class heroes. If only he could defeat the only S-class hero that mattered to him. Even fighting all by herself, Monster Princess Super S is a formidable foe. She's strong and fast enough to land a damaging blow on the A-class's top-ranked, Sweet Mask. But her power as an individual isn't what makes her most dangerous. Her trump card is her mind-controlling whip. By whipping heroes or even civilians, she can dramatically turn the tide of a fight in her favor. She can quickly assemble an army of love slaves to attack her opponent. Most people would be hesitant to attack their own comrades under her thrall, and this is exactly what happened when she faced Fubuki. The entire Blizzard group was under her control, leaving Fubuki with very little options to fight back. Super S doesn't just create human shields, she makes human shields who also fight back. Marugori is another one of Saitama's earliest foes. He started off as an ordinary human who wanted one simple thing: to become the strongest man on Earth. Thanks to his mad scientist brother, he got a lot closer to that goal. His brother Fukigeo invented the ultimate steroid for him to make Marugori stronger. But Marugori didn't just get stronger, he mutated, growing into a grotesque kaiju-sized beast. He's so large that even skyscrapers barely reach his shins, and clouds are at mere crotch-censoring height. One swat of his arm can generate winds powerful enough to flatten miles of city and kill thousands of people. When Saitama came across him, Marugori and his brother had only just started a multi-city rampage. Marugori did little more than walk around and wave his arms, and yet the devastation was incredible. The thought of what kind of threat he'd be in a serious fight is hard to imagine. It would probably take several S-class heroes to bring him down. Geryuganshoop was a general of the Dark Matter Thieves and Boros' right-hand man. Knowing how powerful Boros is, his second-in-command must be insanely strong. Geryuganshoop is a psychic who has the power to manipulate gravity to dangerous results. It can eliminate friction between objects and air, allowing for projectiles to be thrown at near the speed of light, much faster than what would be possible otherwise. This makes Geryuganshoop even more powerful than the number 2 S-class hero Tatsumaki. Just don't tell her that, she'll kill you. Mosquito Girl is the first foe we see Genus face, which means she started the well-loved tradition of Genus being the series' dedicated jobber. Although he did well enough dispatching her and her mosquitoes in her base form, when she powered up, he was no match for her. She tore him to shreds like it was nothing. He would have died right then and there, in his very first appearance, if it wasn't for a little help from a naked Saitama. Mosquito Girl is another villain who hails from the House of Evolution. She can control massive swarms of mosquitoes large enough to black out the sky. Even a small portion of her swarm is enough to drain a grown man of all the blood in his body in a matter of seconds. Make sure to put on some bug repellent before you try to cross this monster. Phoenix Man is a high-ranking executive of the Monster Association. That alone makes him worthy of being a dragon-level threat. One of his early appearances in the series is rescuing Garou from his fight with Bang, Bomb, and Genus. He's powerful enough to release a gust of wind that knocked all of these extremely powerful men off their feet. Early on, his role is mostly tactical. He leads the mission in capturing Garou, and is more concerned about recruiting the human monster more than anything else. But that doesn't mean he can't fight. He's able to increase his power exponentially by being reborn after death. He became an even more extremely intimidating force in his resurrected form in his fight against Child Emperor. He gains extremely powerful elemental energy manipulation powers. The most terrifying is his fire manipulation. That's right, they don't just call him Phoenix Man because he looks like a big red chicken. Gouketsu was originally a martial artist and a winner of the Super Fight competition, but it was when he was fed a monster cell and inducted into the Monster Association that his strength really exploded. He's a dragon-level threat. His defeat over Genus was so overwhelming that the cyborg thought he'd be strong enough to give even Saitama trouble. His power was really put to display when he ambushed the tournament. After several of the contestants were transformed into monsters, he watched as Suiryu easily defeated them. But comparing his strength to Suiryu is no contest. Suiryu was easily defeated by Bakuzan, but Bakuzan was easily defeated by Gouketsu. Bakuzan was an arrogant, bloodthirsty martial artist who was humiliated by Saitama in the Super Fight tournament. When Gouketsu gave him the opportunity to get stronger by eating a monster cell, Bakuzan didn't stop at one. He ate several of them like a maniac. This caused him to leave his humanity behind and become a dragon-level threat. While he was defeated easily by Suiryu in the tournament, the tables were completely turned after the monstrification. Suiryu's strong as a high-ranking A-class hero, or even as strong as an S-class. But despite this, Bakuzan was able to treat him like a mere plaything. His torture brought Suiryu to the brink of despair, crying out for a hero. Thankfully, a hero did come to his aid. The same one who defeated most of the villains on this list. Power doesn't just come from raw strength. It can also come from intelligence. Dr. Genus is the father of the House of Evolution. His expertise in genetics have allowed him to create a whole army of monsters all by himself. In fact, he's the man behind 2 villains on this very list. One of his creations, Armored Gorilla, was able to take down Tiger level and Demon level wannabe Martial Gorilla in a single punch. And Armored Gorilla was only his 3rd strongest creation. And although he might not have worked out all the kinks, Carnage Kabuto shows that he's capable of creating a dragon level threat to the world. Dr. Genus is able to amplify his own abilities by creating a few of several dozen clones to assist him in his endeavors. It's also thanks to the scientific knowledge that he was able to exceed the normal human lifespan and restore himself to his prime youth. It's a good thing that his scrape with Saitama was enough to convince him to retire from evil doing. Kombu Infinity isn't the average threat. Long before its first major fight, it spent time skulking City Z. It killed from the shadows without being identified, as if it were an urban legend. But we got to see Kombu Infinity in all its terror when it faced off against Golden Ball and Spring Mustachio. It's not every monster who can go up against A-class heroes 2v1. Golden Ball and Spring Mustachio are best friends and coordinate like a well-oiled machine, but their teamwork wasn't enough to take down Kombu Infinity. Kombu's seaweed tendrils are stronger and sharper than steel, and their blades are flexible enough to snake their way underground to catch the enemy by surprise. Kombu quickly dispatched with Golden Ball, and effortlessly countered Spring Mustachio's Tomboy Barrage. Kombu is yet another villain on this list who met their end at the hands of the caped Baldy himself, Saitama. But to add insult to injury, Saitama took Kombu's remains home and cooked them up for dinner. Wow, looking back at this list, maybe a better title would have been 20 villains who could turn Genus into bad modern art. Don't worry, we love you, Demon Cyborg.